Fantasy Football Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the O'Reilly Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Tim Sestito. Alongside me is my co-host, Kevin, and his co-host, Tucker. Everybody say hi. What a good boy hanging out there on the screen. And we're also joined by our very special guest, Mr. Patrick O'Reilly. He had some technical hiccups, or aka needed Erica to get it set up for him, but he's all good now. He's locked in. Pat, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. This is my
Yeah.
first podcast, and I don't even know what to do with myself.
You don't know what to do with those hands. Well, I've come up with a new segment this week, and we're going to kick it off with it's called The Grossest Thing I've Ever Seen.
Okay, sounds good.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And we're talking about this stinker of a game here. Kev, I think we need some explanations from you here, because this was rough. Nobody deserved to win this game.
No, I actually felt bad winning it, but Jordan Love, I knew he was going to come back to get me. Justin Jefferson is now on the IR, which is like 5 years in a row. My first round draft pick, getting stunk. And if you're an avid listener to the podcast, Pat, I know you are. My running backs have been crap. I've been complaining about them, so it was bound to happen. But I still squeak out the win, and that's how you get into the playoffs at the end of the day. So,
Kev, if I can jump in here, when Jefferson goes down, how do you address the team, right? Like, because that's a real shot, in the gut. How do you control morale?
well, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty hands-off quarterback. I let the guys in the locker room figure it out, and that's why I got Josh Reynolds, that Daily News dropped, on the bench, putting up 17 points, which gives me some confidence that I can kind of plug and play here and hopefully have a bounce back and let CeeDee Lamb take over. I'm looking forward to seeing what my team can do this coming week with the Brooklyn Boycotters as my enemy. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean,
Nice.
Sloan had just an army of buys this past week. I think Buy-Mageddon for him there. Early week 5 for that's a lot of buys for week 5. Anthony Richardson, Justin Jefferson were the sacrificial lambs, and I think that's ultimately what's going to slow him down there. But yeah, it was an ugly performance all around, and I think it needed to be highlighted immediately off the top of the show, because I almost puked when I saw the score.
Yeah, I mean, look at that roster too, right? A couple of guys there. Derrick Henry, you think is going to be solid. He gives you 9 points. Miles Sanders, such a question mark, right? Gives you a point. Richardson, even if he plays the whole game, what does he give you? Maybe 20. That might have been enough to take down Kev.
Yeah, I mean, Kev, now you got a new quarterback in town too. It looks like Joe Burrow's back. I mean, granted, he played the Cardinals, but
Well, it's what I got to work with right now. I don't know. I'm glad I got the wins early, because I think I'm about to weather a pretty bad storm here. My team is looking bleak for the moment, but I think Burrow did this last year. He had a couple of rough starts and then turned it around. So I'm hoping that he can figure it out. He does go on a bye on week 7, so that could be tough, but we'll see.
absolutely. So I was looking earlier at the waiver wire. It was kind of nothing crazy here happened in the waivers this week. So I think this will be short look at here. Buzzsaw making a move here for Donta Foreman, dropping the kid from Arizona here. I did a little defense maneuvers. Finally said goodbye to Dalvin Cook. He's cooked.
It's tough, a name like that to let him go. It's just that's the reality of fantasy.
No, I know. I mean, look at this. Look at these points total. His highest point total, 8.9 week 1, and then everything since has just been 2 point whatever. I was like, yeah, he's I don't need him anymore. Not worth holding there. But in terms of waiver bids, like Curtis Samuel, Justice Hill, and Logan Thomas, and my dad taking a big shot on Brock Purdy here.
And to see Prescott, right? You love to see him get dropped.
Yeah, you'd love to see the Dallas Cowboys get humiliated on Sunday Night Football, which
Absolutely love it.
I mean, the Giants are about to get humiliated on Sunday Night Football, but
The Giants are going to get destroyed.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely destroyed.
I got news for you, Pat.
Yeah.
I am also going to be destroyed, so it's going to be okay.
Nice. Nice.
I'm pretty sure that's how you tolerate bad weather games in Buffalo. Pat, what's your status on Danny Dimes, Danny 10-cent piece? You in or
You
out?
know, it's really tough. And, I know Michael probably backed me up. Last year, we were like not sure of the guy, thought he performed really well under the circumstances, kind of like won us over a little bit. This year, though, like I don't want to blame Dable. I feel like it's easy to blame the coaching, but my God, it's like it looks like every game is just not like
He can't throw the
It's just
ball
not a
down the
game.
field. He can't throw
they're
the
just
ball
in
down the
catch-up
field.
mode. It's like they're breaking from the game plan. It's the guy has no time to throw the ball, which is obvious. But like you didn't bring in a stud wide receiver, so we thought like everything was gonna revolve around Waller, and they hardly
Yeah.
throw the guy.
Yeah, and I think my problem is just Jones, like he played fine last year, enough to get the contract. This year he just can't, like we wanted to see that step, like maybe throwing the ball down the field a little bit, and I don't think he can see like Pat, he can't see beyond his first read at all, and he can't improvise.
I think his awareness is probably not where it should be, but like I think there was enough. He's been in the league long enough that you kind of know what he is, right? So like you're hoping Dable would kind of adapt to that. I just
he
don't know what
has.
this
It's a
team
simple
is.
off-
Are
it's
they
a
a
simple
running team? Are
offense.
they a short passing team? Like, what do they do?
It seems to me like the
They
only time
lose.
they've looked good, with the exception of the second half of the Cardinals team, the only time they've looked good are the scripted plays, the first 15 plays, and they
Yeah.
get down the field
And then
and
they can't
in the
and they
first
can't
game-
score.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, listen, they don't block and they don't tackle. Those are two things you need to do to win football games.
I believe that was like written in the rule book of football when it was invented in like the 1800s. Tackle and
And,
block.
and that Seahawks game, Noah Fant running down the sidelines, you don't even have to make a tackle. You just have to push him out of bounds. And you
Yeah.
had two people could not push him out of bounds.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a tragedy.
I do like that this is a fantasy football podcast where we also just bitch about the Giants being trash. But I'm fully in the
If
tank
not
for.
here, where
I'm
else?
fully in the tank for Caleb Williams. I'm ready to move on. Have Jones start
But
next
then-
season.
But you know what? Just from a human being standpoint, does he deserve that?
Who?
Caleb Williams, does he deserve to be brought to this dysfunctional mess?
No one does, but I mean, it takes one guy like that to turn it around. The Bills were a joke. The Chiefs were a joke for 50 years.
Well, let's
Then they
move.
get-
Let's take a look at week 5 and let's get it moving there.
Bring us back, Kev.
I'm bringing us. We're bringing it back here. We'll start with the big shootout here where my dad just putting up points here. Just a really big week for him. 36 from Fields, Diggs, Hopkins finally had a breakout game. 36 from ETN. Swift. My dad's rolling into form here, and I guess putting your defense against the New Orleans Saints or against the New England Patriots seems to be a good move because they stink.
Nice outing.
It's a nice outing for him. Even with Kyron Williams, not giving him a great performance here. And, even Uncle Chris here put up close to 150. It's hard to.
And that's going to win most weeks, right? 147. You got to feel good about that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
And, my dad has a low tolerance for that. So he's looking at that squad and there's some guys that underperformed. And you can bet that the Daily News is not happy with that.
Mims was gone immediately. Gone. He's already on the waivers as soon as he added him.
And I would bet that my dad would be giving him a headbutt out the door,
Oh yeah, he's not moving his bags for him. He's just tossing them to the side, tossing them to the curb, out the window.
But it looks like Uncle Chris finally won the Brees Hall roulette and played him when he put up some numbers because he kept on miscalculating playing Cook, playing or Hall, or however he had it set up. I think it was playing Hall, benching Hall, playing Hall. So he finally hit, but not enough. And Tim, you did say you thought your dad's team had some underrated talent. I think this week 190. I mean, that's one of the highest scores we put up. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, and you're always going to need that good defense performance, I think, to get to like a 190 kind of score here, no matter what. But yeah, my dad's team's looking along. Nothing for him to text and complain me and tell me his season's over like he does every year.
Guys, can we talk defenses for a moment?
Oh yeah.
I know on draft day, it's like, let's stream a defense, guys like Sloan, they're like, don't even draft a defense, just kind of patch it along the way. your dad's got the Saints, who have been phenomenal this year. I jumped in a little early, grabbed the 49ers. To me, when you have a defense that's giving you double-digit points every week, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Amen. Amen. You know me, I'm an early defense guy, always have been. I have the second highest scored defense in the league at 98 points. And we did a breakdown. You must have missed the episode. We did a good breakdown with
I can't believe it.
where we discussed that the defenses in our league score higher than the tight ends on average collectively.
I'm pro changing the tight end position to a wide receiver tight end position because
This is not a political podcast.
it's gross.
I mean,
It's
this is
gross.
outrageous. We can't go a wide receiver tight end position. I mean, that's
Why not?
it's the
Why
nature of the
don't-
beast.
Why do you have to start Kyle Pitts every week to just let you down, Pat?
Hey, he delivered. He delivered
He-
last week.
For the first
Right,
time,
let's
and
take a look.
let's take a look here. We'll dive into the buzzsaw, getting a nice second W there. Kyle
Listen,
Pitts,
the buzzsaw needed to get back on track a little bit.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know, there's just a couple guys that just aren't performing up to par. We've had some injuries we've battled through. I think we're starting to right the ship. It's time to start sawing through the league a little bit now.
Are you nervous about Garrett Wilson?
Very. Rule of thumb, one of my very few rules of thumb with fantasy is do not ever touch a Jet. And I stumbled upon this guy last year. He ended up being a nice keeper. And I was kind of almost forced to taking him.
yeah,
And
well, you
now,
kept
yeah,
him in the
I don't
12th.
feel good about him.
You kept him in the 12th round, but it's kind of killing you that a guy like Aaron Jones and Javante have been out. But I mean, yeah, this would have been even bigger blowout if you had played Pickens over. At least you got the depth here to kind of counteract a Garrett Wilson.
A little bit of depth. Listen, Ridley had been underperforming a couple of weeks there. He kind of got back on track a little bit. Bijan, Atlanta is just such a crappy team. I hope he kind of gets himself right. But Pitts, he's just too good, right? He's too good. He's almost like Evan Ingram. I'm waiting for this guy to just kind of like be good.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to take him leaving Atlanta and going to greener pastures, which happens to not be the New York Giants, but some other greener pasture to where they'll actually throw him the ball. On the rabbit, this is a tough one. Mike had some found money and Devon Achane, he landed himself on the IR. I mean, I saw that rush on the plane home, that long touchdown he had. Wow, that dude is fast. He's got some serious wheels.
And I mean, it's probably hurting him to see the 39 burger out of Moss on the bench, but it's tough to roll the dice there. Do you go JT? They just signed him that monstrous deal.
Yeah. And that's the tough thing. I think at least from Mike, he can take solace and maybe it'll take 2 weeks to get Taylor up to speed. Right, guy hasn't been practicing. His legs aren't underneath him yet. But we swap it over here. If he puts Moss in, we got a much closer game than what we ended up with here.
Listen,
And you know what? I
Mike
hope he
has-
feels dirty about it. He played the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And that's almost a sin to me. As a Giant fan, I hate when I have to do something like that. So I hope that hurt him a little bit to have the Eagles out there, and only gather 10 points for him. I would imagine he looks at that and he has to shower, right? He knows he did something dirty there. He tried to be sneaky with the
cry in the
Eagles.
shower, cry in the shower a little bit.
Really
Yeah, I can't-
serious running back depth though on his team. He's got Barkley, he's got Moss, he's got Gus Edwards, Gus on the bus, he's got Taylor, Achane, and Breida. So he's covered.
He's
and
covered.
He's got
Devontae Smith isn't always going to give you 1.6 points. So I think, bounce back for them. And I don't know what the heck the Ravens were doing in this game. They just
Lamar,
gave
that's
it.
tough.
That was 10 points from Lamar. That's tough. Also, I just want to add in, I do agree with the defenses being important. And if you don't have to stream them, you don't have to. But I think it's sometimes we select these teams before the season, and then sometimes they're just not the same team that they were the season prior. And that's why I just tend to wait on them a little bit. That's my personal opinion on it. Because it's nice when
Guys,
you
one
get a
thing
solid defense in there.
Yeah, like 49ers, you can just every week, right? And they're going to score probably, more around like the 15-point range, which is on par with like a flex play, which is huge. But to recap the draft for me, big swing and a miss was Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he's
It's a long season. I mean, listen, he's right there. I mean, 18, 9, 15, 16, 15. I mean, he needs 10 more points. I mean, Listen, he's still throwing. His last outing, he had 315 yards. So I think it's going to come. I think it's a long game, but how long can you wait? You got to get some. You got to get some wins.
I was looking at Russell Wilson. He's got friggin' 92 points on the season, and Trevor's got 75.
That's tough. That's tough. And nobody wants to start a Denver Bronco right now. Moving on to James and Craig here. This was got to give
Nice
James
battle.
It was a nice battle. It was a close game. James, he did a full mix up on his team this week. I think he just forgot that Jahmyr Gibbs was out and Hunter Henry putting up a big old goose.
Let me
help his
say
case.
something, Tim. His pivot from Jones to Howell. If you watch that Thursday night game, Howell had like no points until
I know.
late third quarter, and then just went on a tear. So I mean, he. I'm not gonna say he got lucky. Maybe it was strategic, but man, he also had Buymageddon. Look at his bench. Everybody was on bye.
Buymageddon, I mean, he has the
his-
winning piece sitting on the bench too. I didn't fully understand the benching there for Henry, but yeah, that's his team there. Craig picking up his nice second win of the season there. David Montgomery coming back, and he's clearly the guy in Detroit. Everybody thought it was going to be this cat Gibbs, but nope. David Montgomery's going to rush the ball 500 times a game.
Unbelievable, right? The guy gets the ball 30 times a game. Listen, I know he's your brother, Kevin. Something has to be done. You start a guy that is not playing. I mean, it's criminal. He needs to be held accountable. I don't know what we do. I don't know what kind of punishment is right here. I have Gibbs in other leagues. It was not a surprise that he was not playing. This guy's asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not going to take responsibility for it. I think everybody in the league is their own, franchise owner. They take responsibility for their own actions. So he's going to hear this, and you could let him have an earful this weekend. And I don't think it's acceptable either. I don't know what was going on there.
You got to play to win the game. You're going to have a guy that's not even starting out there. Get Jameson Williams, get him out of there, right? Drop him, pick up a running back, and you win the game. I think Craig an easy W, and when it comes down to playoff time, Craig might sneak in because of this game.
He's currently positioned to be in the playoffs here, at the 8 slot. Obviously, that always jumps around all season long. Let's talk into mine, because we're big proponents of City Dogs. We think he has a good team, but when DJ Moore put up 55 points in the Thursday night game, I don't know what Billy's thought process would be, but mine would be, I don't have a prayer of winning this game.
Tim, how'd that make you feel to see that unfold?
It felt good. I was packing for a wedding while I was watching it, and then just like every occasionally I pick my head up and I just see DJ Moore running down the sideline with no one covering on him. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So nice 55 burger there. Obviously boosted me there, but solid performance from the team except for the Washington defense. I maybe we're learning either Washington's defense is really bad or Chicago's offense isn't as bad as we thought.
Yeah,
Tim.
and what a bounce back for Alvin Kamara. Honestly, I should never just draft in the first round again, because last year I picked him the first round and he was a dud. This guy sits out 3 games, comes back 21 points, 18 points. So I think you might have lightning in a bottle here. This guy's looking to perform this year.
We know Alvin Kamara is an original on Tim's squad. I remember I got him his rookie year, and he was I had him and Gurley just carry me to a title that year. Puka Nacua, even with Cooper Kupp back, not super concerned about it. He's still just putting up points here. It's nice where you just got like 4 or 5 guys where one of them could blow up for 30 points a week. It feels like it's just going to be shuffling the board to see which one it's going to be. On Billy's side of it, Devontae Adams didn't get enough, but ultimately it's tough to overcome a 55-point hurdle, because if you put him down to his 15 points a game, right? This is still it's a 15-point game. Then it's more of a swing there. I mean, if we look at
you really have to ask yourself, at what point does it demoralize the team when your your squad is there, you put up a good fight against every team, but you can't get a win? I wonder how Billy is feeling. He's got to feel.
How is he addressing the locker room?
Yeah.
Has he lost the locker room, right? I mean, you got Samuel Laporta on the bench there. Now you got Kelsey, but if that's me, I'm putting Laporta in at my flex. I mean, the guy's shown you enough the past couple of weeks.
If I'm
That's
him,
on Tim. That's on Billy.
if I'm him, I'm throwing him out, putting trades out with Laporta, saying, "Hey, who's got a running back for me? Like, I need some help here because Madison, Cook, they've been all right, but they're not giving him the consistency that he needs."
No, you're not winning a title with Madison and Cook with that combo.
No, you would need Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson at wide receiver, if both
And
are healthy.
Tim, where you have these ties to Alvin Kamara, it makes a lot of sense, right? The guy's delivered for you in the past. I feel like Billy has that kind of connection with Marquise Brown, and I'm not really sure why. He's been big on Brown.
Yeah, I would think he got him. He got him when he drafted him in like the 11th round or something like that. So it's just a late keeper that you get to keep, in the 9th round for a guy that goes in the 5th or the 6th. You get to build your team out a little bit fuller.
Yeah, I'm just not loving it.
He's been stable. Marquise Brown's been stable.
Yeah,
10 targets in 3 out of the first 5 games.
Pull this guy's stats up. This guy's erratic. He got 8. I don't know.
17, 16. I mean, he's steady Eddie.
That's steady. You would take 16
He's
points a
steady
week
Eddie.
from your flex, from your wide receiver too. And he did have Amon-Ra St. Brown miss the game with an injury, so that also does hurt him. But Billy's got a deep team, except for I think he needs a little help in the running back position. But he's got good receivers, got got 2 great tight ends here. Ultimately, he's just going to need, he's got that trade piece there. He might as well be looking for a running back.
Bill, let's talk trade. I want Samuel Laporta.
You got it here, and he can even give you a backup tight end in Kyle Pitts. Last but not least, Night came on here with a big proclamation. He had the mask, put it down, right? Put in a check next to everybody's name. He won that next game, and then 2 losses in a row from there. It's tough for Night there, and Narco just continues his dominance in the thing. But losing James Conner there it's hard. That makes things hard. He had been a nice steady piece for him in the running back for his running back too.
But look at that. Like Mostert's gonna slide right in there, right? Because A-Chain is down now.
Yeah, you put Mostert in there, you throw
Oof.
Keenan back in the flex, and you're looking at he's got
What a lineup. What a lineup.
got a great team. And then Jamar Chase, I thought I was gonna have the highest scoring receiver of the week, and Jamar Chase was like, not so fast, my friends. Putting up, Kirk Cousins, just the guy puts up like 20 points a week. This is what Kirk Cousins does.
I think when Uncle Dan took him, right, there's a little bit of reaction, like maybe Cousins was too early, but let's look at those guys' numbers.
Yeah, he's having, he is Kirk Cousins. This is what he is. But he went and got his guy, outside of that kind of stinky performance against Carolina. 19, 30, 30, 17. Like you can live with 4 of these 5 scores.
Now it's interesting to see what Kirk Cousins can do without Justin Jefferson and what that means for TJ Hawkinson, the tight end,
and Jordan Addison
on Daily News, and Jordan Addison, who I think James might have Addison. So see if he can move the ball around. He's going up against Chicago. That's like one of the worst defenses in the league. So Kirk Cousins might be primed for a big game.
Yeah, and Eckler seems to be coming back this week. He got Joe got Cooper Kupp back. I think Night just had a little lull there, but I'm facing him this week, and I think that's a good transition into our future matchups of the week. Now, Pat, this is where we do our blowout of the week. We pick one team that's going to blow the other team out here.
I like that. Have you guys hit on any of these yet?
Oh yeah, I hit big.
So Pat, you're up. You pick. Who do you think is going to be the blowout of the week here?
If I told you I didn't think it was me absolutely destroying James, I'd be lying to you. I got to put the buzzsaw there. I think the buzzsaw righted the ship, and now he's going to start to dominate the league a little bit.
And James has 4 guys that are listed as questionable in his starting lineup. So I'm not even impressed if you do end up getting this, blowout of the week, because we don't have confidence James will set his lineup. And these guys might all have to be on the bench.
Although you guys will be there with him, so you might have to literally set his lineup for him. But I think James took some big swings, kind of bet on the Giants pretty big, and it losing Nick Chubb though, that's killer for any team. That really is gonna end your season.
Right. Yeah, and you got a lot of guys on bye as well.
You got his Packers and Pickens, but I think you got enough here.
Wow,
You know,
what a Green Bay squad! You really went all in on Green Bay and Jacksonville
Well, it wasn't so much all in. It was,
and Atlanta. You really
Dylan.
tripled up there.
But Dylan, I feel like, right, that's just my handcuff. And then Watson, I was big on Watson. I feel like he's kind of like that big play guy that I like to throw into a flex position, right? Yeah, he's gonna get me 30, and then sometimes he's get me 10, but hopefully
Yeah.
I can live with that in my flex spot.
you can live with the 10, 11, here, but you're right. He does have that home run good potential. And when he comes back from bye, he's playing the Denver defense, which we all know is an absolute train wreck. So might be able to get those Packers back on eye here. So that's the first blowout of the week selection here. Kev, what about
Yeah.
you? Which
I think for me, this one's a no-brainer. I don't care what the projections are. I'm going Michael over City Dogs. I'm picking the Ravengers to just absolutely destroy Billy's team. I think Billy might have lost the locker. I think that he has no confidence, and I think he's nervous now. He's had some guys go off that have been on his bench, and I think he's gonna, second guess himself, play the wrong guy. And I like a bounce back for Michael. Michael's team has been up and down, but I think, if Barkley does play, I think he's got a good chance. Even though they're going up against a great defense, I think he's got a good chance of breaking out. So I'm going to go with Michael here.
See, and I'm on the opposite side of you here. I think City Dogs wins in a blowout. I think losing
Wow.
a guy like Arcane, your breakout rookie star, guy's got 7 touchdowns in 3 games or whatever it is. Like, guy is just hail to the chief there, basically. Losing that guy's tough. That's tough. It's tough. I don't know how he's going to bring the locker room in there together, but I think this is the week that Billy brings it all together here. I think he's Kelsey and Adams, one of these guys is going to just give him a blow up 30-40 point game, and he can throw St. Brown in at the flex if he's playing, or he can even pivot over to Laporta too, because Laporta just puts up 15-20 points.
Exactly. There's too many guys that you could play. He's playing roulette right now. And look at that guy, Laporta. It's like Ben Roethlisberger. Look at his photo.
Let's hope he doesn't.
Ben
Let's hope he doesn't.
The guy's an animal. The guy's
Let's
an
hope-
animal, Sammy Laporta.
Let's just hope he doesn't trap anyone in a bathroom like Ben Roethlisberger. But outside of
Ooh,
that,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Guys, you know
outside,
what I like as a segment, maybe, and I'm just spitballing here. Like, I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe like the torture segment. Like, what guy is killing you? Like, do you play or do you not play?
oh, I like it. Let's
Like that, like Michael last week, almost with the Jonathan Taylor versus
Taylor.
Zach Moss. I don't know if he was thinking that, right? Like the
Huh?
roulette segment, something like that.
Why don't you
let's-
give us a torture? Who's the guy that's torturing you?
Who's torturing you right now?
So for me, I think this week it's fairly easy because I have the buys. So I have to roll with Roshan. If he doesn't play because he's concussed, I'm going to slide in Foreman. But for Billy, I guess he'll look out this week because Kelsey plays Thursday.
Yeah, so
But
he'll know
going
if
back and
Kelsey's
forth
not going to
between
play.
a red hot Laporta or a Kelsey, and then like your flex position there too. Like who kind of eats you up at that flex spot, basically.
That's
Do
what
you
I'm
gentlemen
saying.
have any decisions there that kind of you might lose sleep over?
Oh, me?
Let me take a look at my squad for this coming week. Yeah, I mean, for me, my decision's already made at quarterback. Burrow and Love have been a toss up. It's one of those things. Burrow's a better quarterback, but Jordan Love has been solid for fantasy purposes.
Jordan
And
Love's on
always-
bye at least this week.
Yeah, and I'm always tempted to play a Joshua Kelly, chasing that first game where he only got 15 points, but it just felt like he was going to be the breakout guy. But I'm gonna ride with him on my bench. I'm not too tortured at the moment. My team is shallow at the moment.
I feel like you could say that, and it's just kind of the running backs are the ones that are torturing you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's yeah. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Kev, like if Eckler doesn't play, then I think you might be beating yourself up a little over like Zay Flowers or a starting running back like Joshua Kelly. But I think you're pretty like set, assuming
It's an
Eckler
Akers.
does
It's an
play.
Akers versus Kelly thing. It's it's whoever can get me 7 points because they are both been awful.
But you lose that game to someone by a couple points, and you got that guy on the bench you were thinking about starting. Eats you up.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel that. For me, I'm pulling up my roster here. I don't have anybody that's too like that, but let's. I don't know why my thing's not loading right now. I'm going off memory. You know who's been driving me nuts? T. Higgins. This guy took in the second round because all these
Sure.
players get moved up, and he's put up two absolute. He put up a goose week one, absolutely brutal. He had one really great game here, and then just 3 points, and then just injured. I'm not done with this guy because you drafted him high. And we know he's a pretty good player, but boy, he's been a killer there. I'm thankful that I got my guy here in a little Puka Nakua
Puka, man, what a great pickup, you bastard.
and a great football name, Puka Nakua. That's an all-time football name. But that does it. Pat, thanks for having us. Thanks for hopping on. It was a lot of fun having you on here. We like the new segment, the guy that's killing you.
My goodness, man, what an experience. You guys are naturals here, right? I feel like I'm with a bunch of professionals. It's beautiful.
Well, it
Nothing
must feel weird having the first podcast you ever listened to be one that you're on. So we're happy that we can just double up that experience. Well, you're welcome back.
Right. I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm listening to it. Checking
Pat,
two boxes here. It's amazing.
Pat, you know that you can move on from WFAN. There are other ways to consume sports media in the car.
Guys,
That's
I don't
better.
know why I just haven't made the leap yet, but if anything, you've really inspired me, and I'm going to try to do a little bit better.
I'll send you over some
Yeah.
fantasy football podcasts. See if you like them.
Now, it's going to take me a few minutes to get out of this thing, right? I'm going to start with the headphones, and I'm going to try to find something I can X out.
Maybe stop recording now, Tim.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I got it. There. Thanks everybody. Have a
Later,
good
guys.
week. Talk to you
Awesome.
next week.